In 2025, psychologists are warning us about a strange truth. Not every lie is planned. Some people lie before they even realize their mouth has opened. It is almost automatic, like breathing. Studies show most people tell 1 or 2 small lies a day. But a small group tells so many that they account for almost all the lies. To them, dishonesty is not rare, it is routine. Imagine trusting a friend, a partner, or even a leader. Later, you discover their words spilled out without pause, without guilt, without thought. It is not just a broken promise, it is a habit buried deep in their brain. Scientists say the mind can adapt. At first, lying triggers alarm signals, but with repetition, those alarms grow weaker. Soon, the brain treats lies like ordinary speech. Picture a child playing a game, already practicing deception. Picture a business leader dodging blame without blinking. Picture an fMRI scan where truth and lies blur because the brain has stopped caring. We'll uncover why some people lie without thinking. Childhood roots, brain changes, personality risks, and even the lies we tell ourselves. This is the psychology of lying, why some lies feel effortless. Human society is built on words. Every promise, every deal, every relationship depends on trust. Without trust, the system breaks. Yet, even one lie can crack that foundation. It can spread doubt like a fracture in glass. Surveys show almost everyone lies, but how much varies in shocking ways. Most people admit to 1 or 2 small lies each day, little excuses, polite cover-ups. Others lie far more often. One study found a small minority tells so many lies that they produce most of the dishonesty in daily life. For them, lying feels natural, almost like reflex. This difference shapes everything from family ties to political trust. Because if you cannot tell who is lying, how can you judge character? How can you know which words to believe? That is why psychologists say lying is not just a bad habit, it is a social force. It explains why contracts exist, why courts operate, why leaders are questioned. Lies may be small in number, but their damage is large. And they always begin somewhere. They are not born in boardrooms or parliaments. They appear far earlier. The first sparks of dishonesty come long before adulthood. So when does lying first appear inside the human mind? Lying begins far earlier than most people think. By ages 2 or 3, children already test the limits of truth. Psychologists link this to a key step in brain growth called theory of mind. It is the moment a child learns that other people have thoughts separate from their own. Once that switch turns on, deception becomes possible. Studies by Kang Lee, Victoria Talwar, and others showed this clearly. When kids are trained to understand theory of mind faster, they also learn to lie faster. It is not always sinister. It often starts as play. A toddler sneaks candy, chocolate smeared across their face. When asked, "Did you eat it?" they deny it instantly. The mind has already rehearsed a false cover story. At this age, lying is clumsy and easy to spot. But psychologists warn, it is also practice. Every denial, every trick sharpens the brain for more complex deception later. By age 4 to 5, children lie more smoothly. By adolescence, lying can become strategic. Most children eventually learn honesty matters, but not all do. For some, lying is reinforced. It becomes a shortcut for avoiding blame or gaining rewards. In those cases, the brain starts wiring itself to see lying as normal speech. So the puzzle deepens. Do most kids grow out of lying, or do some carry it into adulthood, their brains trained to deceive without thought? Not all lies are equal, and not all liars are the same. Psychologists studying daily deception found something surprising. The distribution of lies is skewed. Most people tell only 1 or 2 small lies each day. But a tiny minority lies constantly. In fact, these few people create most of the lies recorded in studies. For them, dishonesty does not feel rare. It feels like a routine, a way of speaking. Researchers compared it to a bell curve flipped on its head, most of us near the bottom, with a handful of heavy liars raising the average. This means the old saying, "everyone lies equally," is wrong. It is not the crowd. It is the outliers who bend the numbers. And those outliers often lie in ways that feel automatic, like a reflex. Friends or family may notice their stories changing. Excuses come too quickly. Details don't match, yet the words keep flowing. There is no pause, no guilt, no hesitation. The habit has taken over. This pattern raises a deeper question. If most people use lies as small tools, but a few use them as a way of life, then something inside must be different. So what happens inside the brain when lying becomes more than choice, when it becomes a habit? Science shows the brain can get used to lying. In 2016, a study in Nature Neuroscience used fMRI scans to track what happens when people tell lies. At first, the amygdala, the brain's alarm center, lit up strongly. It signaled stress, guilt, or fear. But with each new lie, the signal grew weaker. The brain was becoming desensitized. In simple terms, every small lie made the next lie easier. What began as a tiny excuse could slowly train the brain to lie without hesitation. Psychologists compared it to building a muscle, but in the wrong direction. Instead of getting stronger at truth, the brain gets stronger at dishonesty. This helps explain why some people slide down a path where lying feels normal. Their brains no longer sound the warning bells. Family or friends might sense it in daily talk. Stories flow smoothly, excuses come fast, and there's little trace of shame. The person may not even notice the shift inside themselves. The habit has changed the wiring of their brain. This is where the danger lies. Because once the brain adapts, lies stop feeling heavy. They start to feel natural. But this raises an even darker question. If repeated lying reshapes the brain, what happens when someone's brain is already built differently from the start? Some people don't just practice lying, they seem built for it. Brain scans give us a clue. MRI studies on chronic liars found unusual wiring in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain tied to planning and control. These people had more white matter connections than average. That means faster pathways for linking ideas, shaping words, and spinning stories. In simple terms, their brains may be better wired to generate lies. But this wiring comes with a cost. The same studies showed they often had less gray matter, which is tied to moral reasoning. So the brain that builds stories quickly may also judge them less. Clinics even use a name for the most extreme cases, pseudologia fantastica. This is a disorder where people spin dramatic, shifting lies, not for money or power, but almost compulsively. The stories can be wild, grand jobs, secret connections, heroic acts. To outsiders, it feels manipulative. But to the liar, the tales flow as if they are truth, or lies, or trapped in them. The wiring explains part of it. But scientists say brains alone cannot tell the full story. Because some liars are not only wired differently, they are also shaped by darker personality traits. So do the roots of lying live in the brain, or in the depths of personality itself. The brain is only half the story. The other half comes from personality. Psychologists warn about a cluster of traits called the dark triad: psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism. Research shows these traits strongly predict more lying. People high in psychopathy often lie without fear or guilt. Their emotions are flat, so deception feels easy. Machiavellian types lie as a strategy. For them, dishonesty is a tool to control or outsmart others. And narcissists twist the truth to protect their fragile image. They exaggerate successes, deny failures, and invent stories to stay admired. Brain scans show these traits also change wiring. In psychopathy, the link between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, the brain's moral alarm system, is weaker. That means the brain doesn't sound the usual warning when a lie is told. Cold lies slip out smoothly. No shame, no pause. This is why some liars can look people straight in the eye and spin stories with confidence. To the listener, it feels convincing. To the liar, it feels routine. But there's a twist. Sometimes liars seem so confident, it looks like they actually believe their own stories. That leads to an even stranger possibility. Are some lies not just tricks told to others, but self-deceptions told to the liar themselves? The strangest form of lying may be self-deception. This is when a person convinces themselves their own lie is true. By doing this, the guilt vanishes. The brain no longer feels the strain of dishonesty because it doesn't see dishonesty at all. Psychologists say this makes the lie flow faster, smoother, and harder to detect. One example is politics. A leader makes a false promise but tells himself it is necessary for the greater good. By believing the excuse, he can repeat the lie with confidence. The same happens in business. A worker cheats numbers but convinces herself she is only balancing things out. Because the lie is partly believed, it feels less like deception and more like justification. Scientists say this is why self-deception is so powerful. It removes guilt, reduces mental effort, and makes the lie sound real. Over time, entire groups can share the same self-deception. Nations rewrite history. Companies defend harmful practices. Families hide secrets behind necessary stories. The line between truth and falsehood blurs, not only for outsiders, but for the liar themselves. This is why self-deception may be the deepest layer of lying. Because if you can lie to yourself, you can lie to anyone. But if lies can be learned, practiced, rewired, and even believed, what is left to reveal about the psychology of lying? Most lies don't start with big crimes. They begin in small moments, often under pressure. A person is late to work. Instead of telling the truth, they say, "Traffic was bad." In that instant, the lie feels automatic, faster than honesty. Psychologists call this a reflex response, but small lies rarely stay small. In business, one fake number can spread through reports until whole companies collapse. In politics, a quick excuse can harden into scandals that destroy careers. And in love, even harmless-sounding lies can pile up until trust shatters. The pattern is always the same. Each lie builds on the last. The more lies told, the harder it becomes to pull the truth back out. The brain grows used to deception. The liar grows confident. The listeners grow suspicious. Eventually, the system breaks. This is why psychologists say lying is like debt. At first, it feels easy to borrow, but the longer it lasts, the heavier the cost. And once collapse comes, it often comes fast. From boardrooms to bedrooms, lies can snowball into consequences no one can escape. The clock is always ticking because the truth waits underneath. And this leaves us with the haunting final question. Did the brain invent lying as a tool for survival? Or has lying quietly taken control of us instead? Lying without thinking isn't magic. It is a process, learned in childhood, practiced in habit, rewired in the brain, pushed by personality, and softened by self-deception. The danger isn't one big lie. It is the 1,000 small ones that wear down both the liar and the listener. Once lying feels easy, truth becomes the harder path. The most chilling part? Some liars don't even know they're lying anymore. They've fooled themselves first. This is why some people lie without thinking. Their psychology makes falsehood flow faster than truth. So when words sound too smooth, are they truth or practiced lies? From toddlers sneaking candy to leaders dodging blame, one truth is clear: lying can become second nature. The psychology of lying shows 4 powerful forces at work: early learning, repeated habit, brain rewiring, and personality traits. Together, they explain why some people lie without pause, as if dishonesty is just another word in their speech. If you want more hidden truths about human behavior and psychology, make sure to subscribe and stay with us. And now the big question: is lying without thinking a habit anyone could build, or a trait only a few are born to carry?